Greetings. I am Tink Taylor, maker of the finest garments in all of the Aurum Coast. You are listening to another episode of Wreckage, an RPG podcast. I'm told these things are popular in your realm. If the recording brings pleasure to your audio receptors, then why not leave a kindly worded review for the performers? I understand it's a very good method of spreading word to other beings interested in listening. Now, I must return to my business. These suits and cloaks won't make themselves.
Right, hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Wreckage RPG. Thank you for tuning in. So, without further ado, I am JGR. I am the DM of this group. I'm sure you sort of all know that by now. And I would like to say thank you and introductions to all our wonderful players at the moment. So we've got Adam, Ollie, Lee, Rob and Jay.
Hello.
Hello.
Throughout to say.
Shalom.
So yeah, we're gonna sort of carry on with our adventures through Uri, but just before we do, a couple of thank yous. First off to Green Ronin for the age system, really good system, and also thank you for the support on the socials. That's been wonderful. Also to Syrinscape, which we're using some of the audio for in the background, tinkling away, and you might have noticed some new songs and tunes in the last episode and in this episode, sort of expanding our little library. And also this time around we're using Roll20 a little bit as well. So all really easily accessible resources, and go check them out if you don't use them already. Talking of socials, we have now expanded onto Twitter, Facebook, been on Instagram for a while, so please go check out our links which are on our anchor page, and please give us a follow, like, all that kind of wonderful stuff. Your support
Smash that
is...
like button, guys.
Smash the like button. It's completely free, it doesn't cost you anything, but yeah.
What is up, guys?
What is up, guys?
You know, if you want to follow us for some funny quotes and just joining in general sort of tabletop RPG stuff on the socials. So, yeah, awesome. Has anybody got anything else they want to say? Any other announcements?
Nope.
Okay. No?
Bit tumbleweed there. No,
the
you're
excitement
good, mate.
was all there.
I've got to go, guys. Sorry.
Oh,
See you later.
Wow.
Darn it! Have to reschedule. Okay. Well, without further ado, let us dive back into the world of Uri. So, last time round, our group finished their business with the Iceborne Raiders and the Toscan people. They managed to find the Raiders a home, and some safety from whatever it is they're fleeing. And they also managed to return Daisy to Fergal. And they managed to earn a little bit of silver from the guards, and at the same time potentially managed to plant the seeds of a partnership between the Toscans and the Raiders. Who knows how that might play out. So, as our group set forth to find out more about the staff and the book that they found within the hidden city in the mountains of the Slate Peak Forest, they stopped off at the Dandy Owl coach house. Here they met a rather old elf by the name of Tantan. Apparently he smells a bit. He seems to show great interest in the staff and the book. And his interest was so piqued that he offered a trade. Information on the items for helping him get a herb he needs for some of his experiments. A herb called Palus Palantalam, and found in the swamps just a little further to the south. He has been there before, but he was chased away by some shadows. Despite the group suggesting force as an ulterior method, they did eventually decide to help Tantan and go and find his herb. So, the following morning, the group headed south. The road was quiet, with the frost-covered grass slowly thawing in the early winter sun. At the first river crossing, they turned inland, following the small riverside path. The vegetation was thick, and the mud was like treacle. The going was rather slow. With the midday sun now making its journey to the horizon once more, our group find themselves on one side of a rather cold river, and needing to get to the other. What would you like to do?
Wait, can I just clarify? Did we agree to help a wizard called Tantan find some Palantatam? What was the herb? Like
Palus Plantum, wasn't it?
Palus Palantam.
Palus Palantalam.
Palantalam for Tam Tam.
Sounds like a hip hop group.
I know.
Also, on a side note, he doesn't smell that bad anymore. He's had a bath.
Yeah, he did have a
so,
bath.
He
yeah.
did. He did.
I'm going to.
Well, that need to be clarified.
So Gillis walks up to Tantan and pats him on the back and says, Tantan, what do your elf eyes see? Then I look at his eyes and I realise he can see a lot.
Currently, Tantan is looking at the sky and watching a whole flock of birds simultaneously. Yeah, and the floor. And somehow what's going on behind him as well.
I think Tink, if I recall, Tink fell into some water.
He did.
And
He's a
Matt
little bit
pulled him
down.
out. So yeah, if you can remember the fable of the scientist, the teenager, and the time-travelling horseless carriage, he has like an auto-drive feature. So like, you know, he just kind of stands there, spreads his arms out, and then all of this like hot air starts like blasting out from everything and dries him off.
I do not remember that tale.
So
I've got to be
doing
honest.
I was going to say,
I do not know that reference, Lee.
I'm glad that I'm not the only one. Cause
The scientist, the teenager, and the horseless carriage that travels through time.
It's Back to the Future.
Yes.
Oh, he's talking about Back to the Future.
Right.
What is this Back to the Future you speak of?
I do not know. No copyright, no copyright.
Yeah.
No copyright.
The fable of the teenager, the scientist, and the time-travelling horseless carriage.
Yeah, Gillis is
rolls off
mildly
the tongue.
pissed off when he loses some of his cloak feathers to this blast of hot air. Just gives Tink a sort of a wry eye.
Is he Geordie now?
Wry eye? Yeah. Oh yeah, man. William Gillis.
Well, and I thought Gillis
old
would be
druid.
the one to blow himself.
If you're just tuning in, listeners, it is a Friday night and we're all a couple of beers now.
Don't make excuses for our action.
So shall I recap? I seem to remember that we were stood at the sort of bend in a river and we need to get across, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
How far? What's the expanse of water like in front of us? How far is it to the other bank?
So as you sort of look out over this little curve in the river, it's about 20 metres or so to the other side of the river. It's a gentle flow. You don't quite know how deep it is, but you do know that underfoot it's quite muddy. And over the other side you can sort of see this white mist just sort of floating over the opposite embankment.
At this point, Tink is kind of looking at Mac, mainly at Mac's arms, and then he's sort of looking at the distance. And he sidles over to Mac and is like, Mac, do you feel you would be able to perhaps propel one of us across to the other bank?
Mac is going to have a look at Tantan. He's
Why is
gonna.
it always me.
He's
the
gonna
most
grab hold of
malnourished.
him.
Wait, I know. Galen's gonna say, wait,
Mac.
Rob, wait, hang on a second. Gillis has got a cloak of feathers. He could probably float across half of that. You throw the other one.
I agree. Take the Birdman. He's part already flying.
But birds cannot fly very well if they get wet. So if he gets wet, it will be worse.
This is very true. We need you to propel somebody across the river holding a rope.
I'm gonna scamper away.
Okay, Mac holds a rope and gets a hold of Tantan.
Tantan would like to scamper away
Okay.
as fast as his knobbly means
as
can
you're
carry
sort of
him.
like, Mac was sort of making his way to go and grab you. So I'll tell you what, Mac, make a strength check, and Tantan, you can make a dexterity check.
Oh,
We'll do an
yeah.
opposed test. So as you
Why
try
does
and
this always happen at the start of the episode? So that is a 12.
Okay, that was a 15.
God damn it!
So, Tantan, you try and sort of wriggle away, and sort of just as you're sort of like taking that first step, just this massive orc hand just like grabs you by the scruff of the back of your clothes and sort of just picks you up quite easily in one hand.
When this is a willpower test, Rob, I will win one.
Mac throws him.
Wait,
You said it.
you tie the rope to him.
Being like...
No, he's holding a rope.
Who's holding the rope? I'm not holding the rope. Oh Jesus!
roll a strength check, please, Mac.
Is there a roll for flight at any point in this RPG that I don't know of?
That would be 17.
Ooh! Ooh! Okay, so I tell you what, there's you sort of start like roll your arm a couple of times, just getting the right angle, and you launch him. Now, you know, you've sort of seen how far people can throw shot puts, and sort of at the moment that he sort of releases, you see Tantan just makes a really small ball in sort of this hope that he's going to fly, and he just starts launching across. And I reckon you probably get a good launch on this. You know, he's quite a small, wiry elf. Probably get him about halfway across the river, and he just lands, splash, straight into the centre of the river.
You should have hit him like a stone.
So as you land, you're a little bit shocked. It's bloody cold. It's freezing in this water,
Right.
and you're sort of like trying to orientate yourself. So as you've got the shock of being thrown into this cold water, I would like you to make a willpower check, please.
Oh, here we go. It's like he knew.
This is a courage check.
Okay.
Mac, it may be pertinent to throw him the rope.
Ooh, okay, that is a 13.
13. Okay, so as you land, you sort of, you know, that splash and that sudden cold and shock, you manage to breathe for a couple of moments and manage to compose yourself. Your feet are not touching the ground, and there's a very, very gentle flow to the river. You are moving ever so slightly to the left and sort of away from, you know, as if you're looking towards the other side. Ever so slowly, not very fast at all, but, you know, it's not going to sweep you away. But yes, it's really cold.
Mac throws
Right.
the rope at him.
Okay,
The whole rope? Or?
Yeah, hold one end.
Okay, roll a accuracy check, please.
Accuracy. Ooh, he's not good. He's not good at these.
Oh no.
Somehow
Ooh.
that does not surprise me.
10.
10.
But he did get
Okay,
a double
so-
2.
He did get a double 2 on a 10. Oh, so as you sort of throw the rope out, it lands about 2 meters short of Tantan, and it's just sort of floating away a little bit from him, and sort of like you can choose to reel it back in, but yeah, it's missed him.
The best thing about this is no one's asked Tantan if he can bloody swim.
Yeah.
Tantan, what are you doing at the moment?
As soon as I was probably landed, I would try and swim for the other shore.
Okay, so I would like you to make a strength check, please.
Oh god, we know how well these go.
This
Or,
is
sorry,
not
it was
opposed.
strength, swimming.
Okay, my strength is 0, so that is a 10.
10. Okay. Well, you quite easily manage to sort of swim across the other side. You sort of line yourself up. You make your way to the shore. You get taken ever so slightly downstream a little bit, but you do manage to swim to the other side, and you're there. But oh my lord, you're cold.
Oh, great.
So you're successfully the other side, but you are freezing.
I guess Mac would probably at this point, a little bit confused, go in and retrieve the rope.
So is he actually going to just pull it back, or is he going to go into the river?
Oh no,
and
he
then...
threw the rope in.
The whole lot.
Oh, so he threw the whole rope. Okay, so you sort of make your way out. I would like, as you start swimming, I would like you to make a strength check, please.
That's quite good. 17 again.
17. Yeah, you easily managed to sort of swim out into the centre of the water. You know, no qualms at all. As it's sort of like the not even the flow batters you away. You manage to pick up the rope, and you're about 8 meters into the river, holding a rope. Even through your thick orcish hide, it does feel quite chilly.
Come on in. It is nice and refreshing.
Yeah, Gillis shakes his head, absolutely not believing a word Max says.
Cannot say I approve of sullying my clothes in this filthy water.
Is there any sort of... So Gillis is just looking around for any sort of trees or anything he could sort of use as a regrowth spell to perhaps make at least a raft out of or extend something across the water.
Roll a perception searching test.
To see if you
So
can
having a
find a
look.
tree.
9 plus 2, 11. 9, 11.
11. Okay. So as you're sort of like walking around and looking around the sort of the area that you're in, you do see sort of like some slightly larger logs, a little bit of driftwood that's sort of quite large in places that might be of use.
I was thinking, like, obviously, the rest of us can probably take a bit of a dip in the water, but Tink's going to suffer sort of a bit more than the rest of us.
He's watertight, isn't he?
Cold. He's a droid. He doesn't need food, sleep.
Doesn't he get rusty?
Sleep, but nah, it's not necessarily. It's like otherworldly metal. So.
I've got a potion WD-40 for that.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably not much.
It's more the fact he doesn't want to get his clothes dirty because they're very nice clothes.
Let's stuff him then. Yeah, Gillis is just going to start booting it, start swimming his way across.
Okay, so you're sort of putting the wood to one side, you're just going to swim across. Okay, roll a strength check, please, as you make your way across.
That is 13.
Nice, awesome. Okay, you very easily managed to make it across the river, the gentle current not bothering you at all, and you sort of managed to get straight across. And as you swim past Mac, who's just like having a little paddle holding the rope in the middle of the river.
Can Mac touch the bottom? Being taller than the rest of it.
Mac, you can't quite touch the bottom. If you sort of like put your toes down, you could almost touch the bottom, but you can't quite.
I mean,
so Mac and Tink and Golem, what are you doing?
I guess Mac will probably just follow Giddis and paddle after him over the other side.
I think with your roll of 17 earlier, you don't have to roll again, so you sort of managed to make your way over to the other side. So you sort of, as you make it to the other side, it's a little bit damp underfoot, and you do look a little bit further downstream, and you see Tan sort of just stood on the side, sort of about 10-15 metres further downstream.
Right, he'll just start wringing the tent out and things that he's got in his backpack.
Just start trying on all this stuff in his bag.
I am not a javelin!
Should we start a fire and warm up before we crack on?
No, you are not a javelin.
You're an elf.
What's the air temperature like, John?
So your side of the river at the moment, it's cool. It's sort of like early winter, so there was a frost in the morning. It's warmed up in the sun. It's been sort of sunny most of the day. Over on your side of the river, however, it does feel colder, even though you've only gone about 20 meters across this river. It does feel a little bit colder your side. It's just a little bit chilly.
Okay, I'm just going to suggest to the guys who are here.
Videos.
Yeah, it's just suggest to the guys we start a fire for when sort of Tink and Galen get over, and just dry out before we move on. Don't need anyone going down with like illness or anything.
I've got flint and steel. Is there any sort of like dry undergrowth or wood around? I know we're in a swamp, so it's unlikely.
Okay.
But
roll a searching check.
That'd be under perception.
Perception, yeah, searching as you have a little look for that.
Okay. Ooh, it's a solid 10.
Solid 10. You spend like a little bit of time just having a little look for some dry wood, and whilst you're doing that, Tink and Galen, what are you two doing?
Yeah, so I guess at this point, I just want to make sure that we're not just swimming across this river unnecessarily. Like, so I'm going to look around, see if there's another way or an alternate way of crossing. Like, can I see up the river or anything?
I would like you to make a perception check, please. Searching.
I will roll in here.
The whole time, Tink is just standing there waiting for like assistance. He's not really being any use at this point. He's always used to things being done for him.
15 total.
15. Okay, good. So you spend a little bit of time just like looking around and walking around, and you sort of go a little bit further upstream, and what you do find is find there's like a little post. And attached to the post there's a little bit of rope, and you sort of follow the rope, and you just see there's this little makeshift raft, just sort of where like an old crossing point might have been, but you didn't notice it at first because there was a lot of undergrowth sort of growing and covering where it was. So yeah, you sort of managed to find there's a little boat.
So I'm going to turn around and say, do you want to cross the river using this, or do you want to swim?
And he's sort of just been stood there, like leaning on his cane without saying a word, and he kind of perks up and looks over. Yes, Galen, I think this would be a preferable method of transgressing this river.
Very well, we shall take the boat, the small boat on the crossing.
Right. So as you do this, it's a bit old and creaky. I
think,
would
John,
like you
at this point, I think Tink would probably extend. He'd sort of say to Galen, "Permit me," and then he extends, like he's got his cane in his hand, and he kind of clicks it, and like some little propeller blades come out of the bottom of it, and he just kind of dips it in the water.
Okay.
Go, Gadget Cane. Motor!
I would like you to make a let's go for dexterity sailing check.
Yes. Okay, this could be adjusted. That's not too bad. 5, 9.
We're sat by the fire as this raft goes belting past.
Okay, so you're sort of like you're sort of navigating across the river, and you sort of the gentle sort of little sway, and you sort of make little corrections, and you sort of navigate. And it's sort of about this time, Tantan, that as you're walking up and down the sort of side, you sort of hear this sort of little bit of splashing. But as you're doing this, you do find this really nice bit of wood that's like quite dry, just sticking out of the ground, sort of a little bit from where you are.
Okay, I'll try and pull it free.
Okay, so I would like you to make a strength check.
Oh, jeez. Why, John? Why'd you do this to me? Come on, 3 6s. Oh, that's not bad. 10.
10? Okay, so... No,
it's 4
not
stun
budging.
points, though.
It's not budging.
Oh, I do have it, yeah. But I don't...
Well, no, because you've got a pass to get the stun points.
Right, okay.
So, as you're making your way across the river, Tink and Galen, in your little makeshift in the raft that was there, you do notice there's a post that sort of Tantan is currently trying to pull out the ground. That sort of seems to be like the only obvious anchor point on the far side of the river.
Tantam, I would advise you stop doing that until we have fully traversed the river.
Hey! Just gonna carry on trying to pull it out. I'm cold and wet, and I need fire.
Okay, roll another strength check.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, yeah. Oh baby, 1 less, 9.
No, you're still not able to pull this out. And by the time you've sort of been having a go at this, you sort of managed to meander your way to the little post, Tink and Galen, and you're successfully on the other side of the river and nice and dry.
Well, that was a pleasant trip. Thanks for your little motor majobly you've got going there, Tink.
You're very welcome, Galen.
Well, a majobly.
Now,
What's a majobly?
Shall we see about starting a fire to dry off these other members of our ragtag group?
Yeah, maybe we should. So at this point, I'm probably just going to walk over to this post and try and pull it out of the ground for Tantam.
You are a priest of the pyre order. Are you not?
So
I need wood. I can't just magic.
So are you,
fire!
What are you doing with the raft at this point?
Leave it.
Pull it up. Pull it up
Okay.
onto the bank. We'll pull it up onto the bank for now.
Okay, so you pull the raft up onto the bank. Okay, and you're trying to get this wooden pole out.
Yeah.
Go on, Galen. Strength check.
It's very secure. I don't think you'll be able to move it.
Let's give this a go. By the might of the Ember Order.
The Ember Order, sorry.
I've got 10. I've got 10.
10. You can't get it out the ground.
I told you.
Budging. This is like the sort of that fable, the sword and the stone, just where the sword is a bit of wood stuck in the muddy ground.
Gentlemen.
See, I have heard of that fable.
The plank in the flop.
Would it not make sense to use the strongest member of our party to assist on this in particular endeavour?
I'll give it another go then.
I say, Mac.
Yeah?
Would you kindly join us here? We're in need of some assistance.
Certainly. Alright, I'll come over.
No, hang on.
Were you having another go there, Tantan?
Yeah, I rolled a 12.
You rolled a 12. So that succeeds. You managed to pull out.
Yes!
You managed to pull this. As Mac starts walking over, you pull this bit of wood out.
I'm going to hold it over my head, victorious.
Roll a strength check, please.
Oh god.
It just falls over backwards.
Don't roll
damage
anything
to
less.
the slip.
Oh no.
9.
Oh no.
So it drops onto your head, and you take 6 points.
Oh my
of damage.
god! How
heavy is this log?
It hits you square on the head, smacks you in the head, and it really sort of knocks you a little bit.
Boom headshot.
Straight into his eyes up.
So, my eyes are slightly more dazed than usual.
They're now straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to run over and check Tantan's head for damage, because it looked like he got quite a whack there.
For damage.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a little bit of grazing and a little bit of, you do you sort of ask him to follow your finger, and as you check him for a little bit of concussion, it's like you give up on that one rather quickly. But he's just had a bit of a bang to the head, really.
Follow all my fingers, and he can.
Behind your back
at once.
Okay, so I'm going to try and miss the healing.
It appears your services are no longer required.
Are you going to try and heal him?
It was funny seeing the elf hit himself on the head.
I'll try and patch him up.
Okay, so just going to try and patch him up. So roll a healing check, please.
What's that under?
Intelligence.
Ah, cool. 14 then, and 5 stun
so
points.
You succeed, so he gets...
His vision's cured.
I will double check that. I believe it's... I don't know. Brain moment.
He's grown branches out of his eyes. He's got eyeballs that extend out.
Yeah, he's now a dryad.
So, what would the rest of you like to do?
I guess we need
Are you going to make this fire?
We need to, don't we?
Yeah, I've got my flint and steel.
So with the dry wood and the flint and steel, you manage to make a sort of a warm little fire just by the side of this river. And it takes a little bit of time, but you do manage to sort of warm yourself back up.
Tantan's going to do that thing that old men do in changing rooms and get completely naked in front of everyone. And hang his clothing nearby. Just no shame whatsoever.
So you make this little part, you almost get like, you put your staff out, you hang your clothes up, you let them dry next to the fire, and you just sort of stand there. Making eye contact with everybody at once.
At this point, Galen thinks it's pretty hilarious. He's just going to knock. He's going to knock Tantan's clothes into the fire.
Why? Why are you so horrible to me? I show you nothing but love.
So you knock them over very easily. Just knock them into the fire. They sort of flop onto the fire, but they're almost so wet that they just put the fire out.
Oh.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate that.
So brilliant. We've got a priest of the Order of the Flame who can only put fires out.
I'm sorry, I just had this vision of this naked elf wizard. What a wandering around.
So there's now this this pile of slightly damp clothes on top of this sort of now out fire. What would you like to do, Tantan?
I'm gonna remove my clothes from the fire.
Okay. So you sort of pick them up, and you notice the one that was on the bottom, your jacket that was on the bottom has got like a little singe patch on it now, where it sort of took most of the heat. But it's warm. It's a little bit drier than it was, but it's still a bit damp. But you've warmed yourself up by dropping your layers, and you sort of like look at your clothes, a little bit singed here and there.
Just gonna sort of look at everyone and be like, are we gonna relight that or?
Gentlemen and Mac, would it not be pertinent for us to continue on our journey?
I think it's time to go now.
I guess we can dry while we walk.
Okay. And Tantan will put on his wet robes.
Which is going to make him stink again.
Yeah, probably.
I think all of you.
You
guys
brought this
wet.
on yourselves.
Yeah. I think we're all going to be honking.
Stink at this point. Well, no, not me and Galen. We're bone dry.
I mean, technically, I don't think you just
Max had
smell
in a long time,
the.
so he probably smells better.
Smelling like emo-ness.
So,
smelling like a stain
as
for the
you
world.
sort of prepare, as as you folks prepare to like move onwards on the next part into the mist, just to recap on the heal. So a heal action, you pass the test, Jay, and then what he gets is your stunt die plus your intelligence. So your stunt die was 3. So what's your intelligence modifier?
No, stunt die was 5. Are we doing the last dices? So I've done it on the
You're
screen.
doing the first dices, stunt dice.
Oh. 3 intelligence is also 3, so 6. Bang on.
Ooh,
So
back
6.
on.
So yeah, you get 6 back.
It's like he was never struck over the head.
Yeah.
So
Except the
as
massive
you
bandage
sort
surrounding his
of-
head now.
After
Like a turban.
After your successful crossing of the river, you make the short climb up the damp and muddy riverbank. The air is much moister on this side of the river, clinging to your skin as if stuck in an eternal shower. As you crest the small embankment, with your feet just finding enough purchase to steady yourself at the top, your vision is suddenly engulfed by a thick white mist. You cannot see far beyond the top of this slope, a few metres at best. And while there is not much to see beyond the brown, green tuffets of grass, as they're separated by small dark puddles of water, you do scan the area and notice a small path continuing through the swamp, the odd cobble pointing out of the mud, and a lack of grass compared to the surroundings. However, in all honesty, it's not many metres before it just disappears off into this mist.
It appears there's a path here, gentlemen, and Mac. Perhaps we should continue to follow it. Tam Tam, is this
Mac
the way?
has just realised that he has left Jeremy the other side of the river. And he has just turned and sprinted back the way you just come.
Mac, where are you going?
Splash.
So, as you do it, it just disappears off into the river. Cold aside, sort of swims across. I'd like to make. We'll just for the sense, we'll do one strength check, please.
Jeremy meets him halfway, some sort of cute meat.
Okay, 15.
15. Yeah. So you easily manage to make it to the other side, and there's sort of just a sheep stood on the other side of the river,
Judging.
And at this moment, you do notice something about Jeremy. Now, the interesting thing is, you know he's a male sheep, but this is the first time you've actually started to notice his horns appearing out of his head. Beforehand he didn't actually have horns, whereas now there's just some horns growing out of his head.
He's a real boy
you sort
now.
of just glance at it, and you pick up Jeremy and you bring him to the other side, and sort of like, get him to the other side, and there's just this sodden, wet sheep over the other side as you sort of catch up with everybody else as they make their way into the misty swamp. Okay, so what I would like you folks to do as you're going through the swamp, what order are you walking in?
Surely Tam Tam would lead the way because he's been this way before, right?
Is that a
can
wise
see everything.
choice?
180 degrees.
I mean, if the group is insisting, Tantan would probably lead.
Okay, so Tantan at the front.
I'll
we just behind
walk
him.
next to Tantan as well.
You'll walk
we
next
can-
to Tantan?
yeah, we can go.
So you'll follow shortly behind, because there's not quite enough room to walk side by side.
Alright,
but
I'll
you sort of
go
just
behind Golem.
him. Okay, so they
Mac
you
go
wanna
will take
leave
up the
Tinker?
rear as he was
Okay.
going back for the
Mac.
sheep.
and then Tinker. Okay, fantastic. So you sort of start to wind your way through the misty swamp, and the path is quite easy to follow. The sort of the absence of grass and the odd cobblestone here and there. As you're all sort of making your way through this swamp, I would like you to all please make a perception check.
Any focus on
Seeing.
that? Oh. 6, 6, 1 plus my perception of 3. So,
Go
11
12.
anyway.
9 for me.
12.
12, 9, and what did you roll, Tink?
16.
16. Okay. So, as
Orient Sea
you're
Orb.
making your way through, you're sort of just scanning around. You swear for a moment you just saw something move off to your right.
Gentlemen,
But
I
you
believe
sort of
there's
look
something off
again,
to our right.
and there's nothing there.
Curious. It's no longer there.
Was it
Tantan,
something
you
big?
didn't tell
Can't
us
be
why
sure.
you needed this herb. Like, what is it that we're actually after? What is it that you do, dear wizard?
What is it they mine here? In joke.
Yeah. God. That is a flashback, that is. He's going to sort of like turn to you and be like, it's a very magical herb. It is all full of important properties. The iron levels and the sedimentary imposition of various chemicals. Very important. Yes.
Right. Okay. Just look away from him. Like, man, this wizard. What have we got ourselves into? Again.
I think Tink's just going to keep staring off.
Okay, it's going to keep staring off into the distance as you sort of continue to make your way forwards. You sort of keep going for a few more minutes and a bit further along. And I would like you, Tink, to make one more perception check, please.
Not so good that time. 12, 15.
Okay, that's still pretty good. That's pretty good. As you're sort of scanning around, like keeping your eye out, you sort of look behind you, and you see this hunched up sort of figure just behind Mac, just reaching into the bag just on his back.
Mac?
And it sort of looks and makes eye contact with you, and just disappears off into the mist onto the side.
Mac, it may be pertinent to check your contents of your bag. I believe there was a small creature delving into it.
Okay.
I cannot be certain.
Mac will check the bag.
So as you have a little look inside the bag, seems like everything's there.
It's all there, Tink. It's okay. I will set Jeremy to guard it. And I'll hoik Jeremy up and put him over my shoulders.
Okay. You put Jeremy onto your shoulders and you sort of continue to meander your way through.
Can only picture Jeremy as Shaun the Sheep.
You sort of continue your way through the swamp, meandering around, and you sort of come to a patch of ground that just looks a little bit muddier and dirtier on your way through. There doesn't appear to be any way around, and there's like a small set of cobbled stones just like in the middle of this little part of the path. What would you like to do, Tantan, as you reach this?
Could I try and see if there is any sort of magical imprint that I might be able to sell by the pattern of the cobbles?
Okay. Roll intelligence arcana.
Okay. That would be a 14.
Okay, so you sit there and you sort of pause and everybody waits for you and you look at these rocks, poke the one nearest you. No, nothing magical about these, they're just rocks poking out of mud.
Pretty pebble! Just turns with a grin to the rest of the group.
Tink's still looking and scanning at this point.
Okay, you don't see anything untoward, you just see this patch of ground in front of you that's just a little bit muddy with these rocks in it.
Galen's just going to turn to Tantan and just go, what are we doing here? Where are we going, wizard? We've walked for God knows how long into this mist. We've got no closer to your goddamn church.
It was a monastery, but we'll find it, I promise you. It's further in. Keep going. Through the mist, through the swamp, and we'll find it, yes.
You don't sound very convincing there.
Oh, come on. And Mac's going to stride forwards into this muddy thing.
Okay. So you sort of managed to start to walk across. I would like you to make a let's go for just a dexterity check, please.
Oh dear. That'd be 5.
A 5. Okay. So you sort of confidently take a couple of strides into this.
Sorry, 6.
6. You plant your foot into the mud, you missing a stone, and your foot just gets stuck into this mud. And you sort of try and remove your foot, and as you do so, it sort of almost seems to go deeper.
guys, I seem to be stuck. And can you help me, please? And he's just going to try and pull his foot even harder.
Okay. So roll a strength check, please.
15.
15. Okay. Well, that was my that was. Oh no, what's your stunt die? Sorry, 15. And what's your stunt die? Sorry.
It's 4.
4. Okay. Cool. So as you sort of like try and move your foot out and try and remove it, you feel like you're loosening it ever so slightly, but you can't quite get it out all by yourself.
Perhaps we should assist.
Tan is very sarcastically going to say, maybe we should throw him in deeper.
I think at this point, Tink will try and rope Gillis and Galen to help him.
Okay.
Gentlemen, please assist me in recovering our erstwhile colleague.
Makes sense.
Okay.
So Galen's going to help.
So
Okay,
Tan will regretfully
Okay,
help.
so Galen, you reach forward. How are you going to try and help?
So I'm going to try and pull the rope off. Ask Mac to chuck the rope and rope it around him. Pass off Jeremy first. We want Jeremy off his shoulders and Jeremy to safety, and then we'll get the rope and try and heave him out with the rope.
Okay. So I'd like you to make a strength check as you manage to do that. You sort of pass Jeremy across and you sort of start roping him up and you sort of try and pull him out of this little bit of...
13.
5 on the stunt dice. Okay, cool. So you start pulling and it's almost enough. He's starting to come free. His foot, like, even though it sort of seems to be sinking, it does feel looser. It's not quite there that you can just pull your foot out just yet. Does anybody else want to do anything?
As I say, can we all assist? Can we all pull at the same time?
Okay.
Like form a
So,
chain
Tink,
or-
as you
Yeah,
join in,
actually,
I would like you to make a strength check.
Oh dear. Okay. So uncharacteristically good. That's 8, 12, 13.
13. Okay, and that's enough. And sort of with that final little pull forwards and sort of your third success, that was an advanced test, one of those ones that sort of builds up using all your stunt dice as you go. You managed to sort of pull him out and free of the mud. It's sort of like this satisfying sort of squelching noise as he sort of just pulled out, and then sort of like a pop as his foot pops out. Luckily with his boot still attached. But yes, this does seem to be a little bit of a hazard.
Mac, are you okay?
Yeah, I am good. Thank you. Be careful of the mud. It is sticky.
I will do. Tan, I don't think we're going to be going this way. You're going to need to help us a bit because we're in this middle of this mist. We're a bit lost. Where are we going to find this monastery?
Could I use my natural law to try and figure out a safe path?
Okay, yeah. So roll a natural law check.
Okay. So that is so with your proficiencies, you add that on top of your intelligence modifier as well, don't you?
Yeah. So it's +2 if you're.
So that would be So that would be a 15.
15. That's a really good roll. So as you sort of like look around, you sort of like gaze it round. You know, you've been to this swamp before, and you do know that the tuffets of grass are quite solid. And sort of you look around, and you're like, no, you do remember this the last time you came here, and you just went off to the left, and there was a series of tuffets that you could follow that brought you back to the path.
I'm gonna pull up my robes, exposing my very knobbly knees, and sort of like hop from tuffet to tuffet. Follow me, it's this way.
And sort of like there's all just like sort of
Dad, is that you?
Jumping from jumping from tuffet to tuffet as they go along, and sort of like almost begins to disappear into the mist. What do you folks do?
Yeah, I'm guessing we follow.
Yeah.
Following?
It seems you're
The
working.
group decides to turn around.
We better not leave this guy alone.
And that is where we say farewell to Ollie. Thank you for playing.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Vanished into the
Real.
misty swamp, and he's done. I'm just going to make one caveat: is that Gillis is going ahead of Mac, thinking that Mac's massive body weight will crush these tuffets to death.
Okay.
He's not
So
going to tell anyone else
you
this.
sort
He's
of-
just going to do it.
Okay, so you sort of like almost as everybody's just waiting, you just go first and you sort of follow Tan hopping across, and you notice they're quite sturdy as you jump from. And sort of as you make your way as the whole group across and round, you sort of come back to the path and you sort of see behind you the little area. It was only a small patch, but certainly was a little bit of a risk as this swamp goes. You sort of manage to get there,
Okay.
and you sort of continue to walk through the swamp. A few more minutes. And then all of a sudden, the mist seems to suddenly lift. And it exposes a group of ruined buildings sat on a small hill about 100 metres to your front. The small hill itself is dominated by a large structure with giant empty windows reaching up to where a roof once might have been. It's quite a long building, slightly wider at one end, and it's grey stone being highlighted by the misty backdrop. As your eye scans the base of this building, you see that there are many small stones at sort of all sorts of angles. A graveyard, perhaps. And you also notice a couple of ruined buildings, outhouses of some kind. With the mist now absent, you notice small insects start to buzz around the reeds of the swamp, their noise eerily adding to the little sound found in this place.
This is nice.
See, I told you, monastery, we would find it. It's just there, in case you didn't see, the building on the hill.
So I look at Tantan. I'm like, this is a ruin. This isn't a monastery. This is desolation. Why have you brought us here?
Well, this is where they used to grow the plant, so this is where we will find the plant.
Okay.
What does this flower look like?
It's a small, squat plant with many leaves coming off it, a dark green with like a yellow stripe along the leaf.
So we're looking for a green plant.
Yes, yes, exactly.
At this point, Tink is probably like he's on a bit of alert status here because of obviously what he saw with Mac's bag. Can he listen for anything? Because I do have a focus in hearing. Can you hear anything in the vicinity other than ourselves?
Roll a listening check.
Okay. Oh, okay, this is going to be quite good. 6, 14, plus 5, 19.
19, that's a really good listening check. You hear,
wow.
hear the heartbeat of the
buzzing.
planet.
It's sort of like as you
3
tune in,
perception, plus 2 hearing.
as you sort of like listen in, like the buzzing of these insects just gets louder and louder, but there's nothing else. It's just eerily quiet. There's not even bird song out here. There's no real birds, there's no real trees, just these insects. And you sort of, as you're stood there, you sort of hear the sound of people's footsteps as they shuffle just in front of you. And sort of as people are just looking
Our
at you.
footsteps.
Your footsteps, yeah. You just sort of like tune in, and that's pretty much all you can hear.
Okay. I think Tink wouldn't say anything unless he heard something, so he just looks like he's got his ear cocked to the sky, like he's listening.
I'm going to.
I think we need to
Gillis
just
will
get
go up
this.
to Mac and say, "Hey, Mac. Go up to Mac and say, is Mac still carrying Jeremy, or is Jeremy just being?"
I'm still carrying him over my shoulders.
Okay, I'm just going to warn Mac off. It's like, I know Jeremy eats plants. Could we make sure he doesn't eat the plant we're here for?
I will tell him, Jeremy, do not eat any green plants whilst we are here.
Gillis just nods. That sort of just a totally exacerbated nod of, okay, I think Mac has done the best he can do. Right, he's going to keep his eye on Jeremy. Sorry, Adam, go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Galen had turned to the group and say, let's just get in this monastery, get out of here with this sodding herb. Like, I've had enough of this damp, misty swamp. I want to be back in that pub. Let's get myself a beer.
Next to the fire, you couldn't start.
Yeah.
Woo!
Shots fired.
Sassy.
So,
Yeah,
as
I
you
guess
sort of like
should we start making our way in?
So at that point, Galen finishing, he'll just start walking towards the monastery.
Okay.
As Galen starts to walk towards the monastery, who's following next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Tantan.
So Galen and
Tink will
Tantan
follow
in
on.
front. Tink will follow on. Okay.
Mac will take up the rear again and perhaps
Okay.
have a look at the gravestones and stuff as he goes. And
No, it'd
Take
be
his
just in front
time.
of Mac then.
Okay, so you'll be just in front of Mac. Okay, cool. So, sort of Mac bringing up the rear, sort of like stopping, and sort of when you see the odd little stone, and it's just before the actual monastery itself. And as you get a little bit closer, you notice there's a small wall around this monastery. I'm just going to move us over onto a map so you can sort of see what we've got. So
Fancy. For the benefit of the listener.
Yes, I can't wait to actually play this in person with stuff. But yes, we have a little map here. So as you're greeted the monastery, there is just like this large sort of building in front of you that you can sort of see. And at the moment, all because of the vegetation that's sort of growing a little bit around here, there's little bushes and shrubberies. You can sort of just see out into like a little courtyard in the centre that sort of sits in the centre of where the large building was, and you can sort of see down to where the main entrance of the monastery would be too. Where would you like to go? And Galen, you're there first.
I think I'm just going to continue to walk up to the door.
Okay, are you
To
going
the
to go to the
entrance to the
main
monastery.
door? Entrance to the monastery.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go to the main door. Yeah.
Okay, you're going to walk up to the main door. Where's the rest of you all going to go?
I will probably follow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should stick together.
Yeah,
If there is what Tantan says is here. Don't want to Scooby-Doo this and split the group.
Yeah. Assuming there's something awry, like obviously there's a small creature that Tink's seen, plus shadows that Tantan's told us about.
Okay.
And quicksand's going well.
What's the light level like, John?
It's a bit clearer here. The light level's okay. It's sort of mid-afternoon at this time.
Okay, right.
So you can see some stuff. Okay, so you now can't see. Okay. Right. So, as you make your way to the door of this monastery, you sort of see there's this wooden door. It's got holes in it here. It's sort of like slightly ajar. The stone around the side is sort of crumbling and sort of there. It's very abandoned. Feels abandoned. But yeah, the door's slightly ajar. What would you like to do?
Well, Galen's gonna. He's had enough of this place, if he's honest, with the group. So he's just gonna push through this door. He wants to get this over and done with. Let's get this herb, and head on down to.
So you go right. Okay. So you're moving in. Okay, that's cool. So you're sort of just walking straight into the room itself, like in the sort of the main area of the abbey. So as you sort of like barge through the door, you knock open the door. You sort of look around and you sort of see this long hallway. You assume this is where the congregations must have come and gathered. There's sort of like rotten wood just on the side. There's sort of broken chairs here and there. And you sort of like barge in. I would like you to make a perception check, please.
I can indeed make a perception check. Let's see what I get. 12 plus my perception of 1. 13, please, John.
Okay. You could have sworn that as you stormed into this place, you just saw something disappear off to the right.
As in close to me, or in the distance?
Yeah. So as you look out in front of you, you sort of see the altar in front of you. You sort of see where the altar would be, and you sort of see the two eaves off to the side. And you could have sworn that you just saw something just move off onto the right-hand side.
So at this point, I'm not really sure what I saw, so I guess I'm trying to double take it. If I can't see it still, then I'm not going to say anything, but, I'm going to be a bit dazed and a bit more alert.
Can't see anything else? Okay. So you just go... What are you going to do, Galen?
Well, as everyone else is following me in, I'm probably going to just take a few steps forward, let everyone get into the room behind me.
Okay. Everybody's going to go in.
I think Tink will just be looking around in sort of a bit of awe, really, at this kind of ruined place. He's not really seen this kind of thing before, because he grew up in the city, lived in the city. He's only ever seen like affluent areas. He's never really seen ruined.
Mac's gonna bring up the rear. Okay, fantastic. So as you sort of all walk in, you make your way in, and you're sort of all in this large area, absent roof, just looking up into the sky. You can sort of see the sun coming through the clouds up in the sky. These large, giant holes where grand windows probably once were. And you sort of look round and you can sort of see little plinths and side areas where maybe like relics or things were put on the side to show off the wealth of this church. As you move a little bit further in, Mac, I would like you to make a perception check, please.
That's good. 15.
15.
Nice.
Okay. Okay, so as you sort of make your way in and you sort of lean the door to just behind you, you swear you hear something outside. You swear you hear sort of just a squelch of some kind. Maybe
Everybody,
footsteps.
something is squelching outside. I'm going to put my head outside, see if I can see it.
So, as you...
Of course he is.
As you turn around, you push open the door, and you lean outside and you look to where you've just come from. And there, not more than 5 meters from you, you see this beast of some kind. Fur, rather like a wolf, but not a wolf. These giant fangs just hanging down from its face. And what's really strange about this creature is there's just these shadowy sort of bands just sort of appearing off its elbows and off its back. It's almost like its fur just turns into shadow, and it just looks at you, pierces you with its eyes, and they narrow like cats focusing on something. And it just bares its teeth and it pounces towards you, and that is where we're going to have a little
I'm going to duck my head back in and close the door.
Shut the door. And yeah, we're going to have a quick break here whilst I just prepare the battle map itself. So yeah, we'll continue from here in a moment. So join us back after the break. Whilst we're having a small break, I feel this is an opportunity to say thank you. Thank you to you, our listeners. So, thank you for listening to our podcast and making it halfway through the show. And, well, if you haven't yet, please go find us on your social media of choice. Give us a like, a follow, maybe even send us a tweet. It'd be great to hear from you. You can find us on Insta as Wreckage RPG, and just to confuse you, on Twitter as RPG Wreckage. And, well, what would be more amazing is sharing our podcast with those you know, and maybe bring another listener into the fold. Anyway, enough from me. Back to the show. We're all back from our break now, so let's carry on with this little bit of a combat encounter that we've got starting up. So just to set the scene, Mac, you've just sort of opened the door, and there's this dark, grey, shadowy beast with these giant fangs, rather like a saber-tooth, just sort of launching itself sort of towards you and the door. So, without further ado, everybody, I would like you all to roll initiative.
Have you just been watching a never-ending story, though, John? Isn't this just a creature from...
Yeah, the swamp.
No. I have to say, I have watched the never-ending story, like, ages ago, but not recently. So, 20 to 15.
Ooh. What do we add to initiative? Is it just dexterity bonus?
Dexterity, yeah. Dexterity.
Ooh, well, I think I'll be last.
I got 15.
15 to 20?
I got 15, yeah.
10 to 15.
Come on.
14.
15?
17.
Okay, so... what did you get?
17.
17, okay. Cool. And Mac, you got 14?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I see all these now. 8.
I got 8 as well.
Okay, and 8 as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So for it didn't get a surprise attack on you because you rolled the same as its stealth check. So we'll just start with its go first, but it's not going to get the jump on you. So it is going to try and hit you with its bite. Not with rolls like that, I'm not. Well, no, because he didn't quite get to shut the door. It was launching at him as he had the door open. That's when combat started. So he is going to roll an almighty 6, 11, 12, 14 to hit.
Yeah. My defense is 12.
That hits. Okay. No stunt dice. So he does 8 points of damage.
Lord.
So you minus your armor rating from that.
I was 4.
Okay, and that is its go. So we'll go to the top of the round. So we've got Gillis up first.
So currently behind me is Mac, looking out of the doorway, getting bitten by a wolf thing. Have I noticed this?
You will have heard this mighty roar as it launched itself towards Mac, and you would have sort of heard this sort of clatter as Mac gets hit by it. So yeah, you probably would have heard it.
Okay, is it in the doorway or is it?
So at this, it's sort of like trying to bite him through the doorway. So it's almost like Mac's hand was on the door, and it's sort of just like clamped down onto his hand as he's sort of like trying to shut it.
Okay, I'm going to go and try and cast regrowth on the door. Is wood, right?
Yep, door is wood.
Yes, stone doors again. I've taken regrowth as a spell. There's no wood in this game. Ever. What's a staff made of? Amber. Yeah, I'm going to try and cast regrowth on the door to try and trap it, or just try and crush its neck in the door.
So it's a target of 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a target of 10, isn't it?
Yeah. Ugh. 10.
10. Okay, yeah, so you make it. So you got to beat it. You got to get it.
I've got 3 stunt points.
So that's okay. So you can use magic stunt points. So you've got your magic stunts.
I did look at these. Once upon a time, I got a stunt point when I passed a roll.
Yeah. So whilst you're having a little look through those.
Yeah.
So the door starts to regrow. Sort of like these little sprouts of almost like twigs with leaves just start popping out and sort of almost like engulfing this beast's head and sort of giving a little bit more protection to this flimsy door that sort of stood behind Mac. Sort of almost like, and at that moment the beast sort of like releases its grip from your arm and sort of steps back behind this door and sort of just looks at you with this sort of these intent dark eyes that are sort of piercing through your soul almost. So whilst Gillis is looking up those stunts, Galen, you're up next.
So kind of hearing the commotion behind, I think Galen's going to draw his maul and then start probably moving forward into the monastery, knowing that we probably want to get out of here, and if there's something outside, he wants to make sure the path forward is clear, so he's going to start moving forward.
Okay. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so as you get here, what I would like you to do is I would like you to roll a perception check, please.
Uh-oh.
14, 15,
Ooh.
15.
15, okay, cool. So, as you get to where you're at, okay, you look out to the sides. You see, crouched down, just behind the 2 sort of cloisters on the side, these 2 shadowy beasts just staring up, ready to pounce towards you.
I think the only thing I can do at this stage, as I've spotted them, is just throw my guard up, be ready to kind of like protect myself.
Throw your guard up to absorb whatever's going to happen. Okay, Mac, you're up next.
All right. Am I able to close this door now? Is he back far enough the door can be closed?
Yeah, you can shut the door if you like. You can shut it, whether it will lock.
Okay, I'll pull the door closed and
Paul.
Just tell and say, watch out, everyone! There's a nasty cat outside. And I will take Jeremy off my shoulders and take my crown off, put it on him, give him my scepter, and tell him to look after these for me, and just hang on to the door for a bit.
So he sort of steps inside. So as you're hanging onto the door, I'd like you to we'll just say you're holding onto the door for the moment. Okay, that's fine. Cool. So it's on to their go next. So what they're going to do is the one that's just outside the door with you, Mac, is going to try and barge through the door and smash through it. So I'd like you to roll a strength check, please.
Ooh, that wasn't great. Would this be a might check or just a general strength check?
Yeah, we'll do. You can have a might check. Please.
Okay, that'd be 14.
You get a bonus
then.
for the door being regrown.
14.
Yeah, actually, would the door even shut if it was regrown?
Well, it's sort of like he's just holding it in place like a barrier at the moment. So it's not like
okay.
locked or anything. It's just like there's a barrier of growing tree just in this door. So
Please
that's,
make that your shield,
that's good.
Matt.
So as this beast sort of like bundles into the door, it like knocks the door ever so slightly. Your feet slip, but you push back and you hold it at bay. You just hear this snarling roar and sort of like this angry padding of feet just outside. And at that moment, it's going to disappear off round the side there. So, Galen, as you're stood there, these two beasts just like launch themselves towards you. So they're going to charge in. We'll start with the one to your left, just charges out from the cloister on the side.
Clever girl.
It rolls. Oh, not good. It rolls a 12 to hit.
So what? I need to check. What does guard up do? Does that add +1 to my defense?
It increases your defense, yeah.
Yes, increases your defense. Yeah.
By what? Just 1 or 2? I'm just trying to.
It's page 33.
Guard up. Add +1 or +2 to your defense until the end of the round. However, suffer the amount you choose as a penalty to all tests you make, even opposed
That's
tests,
fine.
for the remainder
okay,
of the current
So I'll let you pick. +1 or +2.
Well, I'll choose +2 and I'll be up 14. To be honest, I knew that I was going to get malleted by these
14?
guys anyway, so...
Yeah. Okay, so that one actually misses you because it didn't roll high enough. The other one, I'm not rolling well again today. That's a 12. So, actually, as they both bundle in towards you, like you're there with your guard up, you just sort of block the one off to the left, and then as the one on the right comes in, you just block it to the side as well. At this moment, Tantan and Tink, who are sort of still looking down this way, you hear the commotion behind you of Mac at the door being smashed into the door, but you sort of see Galen just being sort of assaulted by these two beasts. So, Tink, you're up next.
So he kind of, you hear him sort of say audibly, activating defense protocols, and he like unsheaths his rapier from his cane, and his kind of hand morphs into a sort of pistol shape. You know, there's now a gun barrel on his other hand. At that point, he would go to the immediate threat. I think he'd go towards Mac. And is there a gap, like where Mac is holding this door? Is there like a gap where he could put his pistol through and maybe take a? Oh, there's nothing there, is it? It's gone.
Yeah, so
Like this.
he's not aware of that. No, so if he goes to the door, it would only be half your movement. So you'd be able to get to the door, look at the door, and notice there's nothing around, and then you'd basically probably be able to get back to where you currently are to react to something else if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think maybe he would maybe just start moving up to. I guess he'd go towards the next immediate threat, which is Galen.
Wait, I'm not a threat.
Okay, so I would say that like
As in the way
Die!
Wait a second.
yeah, so
Careful, he might burn
I'd
the
say
place
you
down.
sort of like you turn to the door because of the commotion behind you. You make your way to the door, and you sort of like look around the door, and there's nothing there. So you sort of turn back round, make it back to where you were, and then you can engage from there. So.
Yeah, so I mean, will his pistol have range up to that?
Yes, so this will be long range for your pistol.
Galen, cover yourself.
Pull your socks up.
Covered in wolf at the moment,
So-
or whatever these are.
My long range
So
is 16 yards, if that helps.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll be in range, but yeah, it will be -1 because you're at long range.
Okay, cool. So -1.
And also, yes, yeah, no, that's fine. Yep, that's good.
Okay, right. So to hit that,
Just -1.
oh, that's not bad. That is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That includes the -1.
15?
16. Yeah.
Yep, that hits. Okay, so roll your damage.
Okay. Damage 1d6 plus 3. No stunt points, sadly. Oh, wait a minute. What was the dexterity of my target, by the way?
Your dexterity of the target is 2.
Ah, never mind, so I can't use pinpoint. But I've rolled a d6 of 5 plus 3, so 8.
8 points of damage. Okay, cool. So, nice stuff. Good. So, sort of like as you sort of aim your arm, you fire out towards it, the bullet sort of slides towards it and smacks it in the flank. And sort of like there's this sort of, as it hits, like where you'd expect blood to splurt out, it's almost like this black sort of shadow just like hits off it, and it sort of turns its face towards you and sort of stares you down. Tantan, you're up next.
Random question for you. Is there any sort of fabric on the floor, like a bit of tapestry near me?
Yeah, so down the centre of the room, there's this really damaged, tattered old part of sort of like almost like rug down the centre.
Okay, so what Tantan would like to do is spend a little bit of his movement to get onto the carpet, and he's going to kick off his shoes.
Okay, so yep, so that you move.
And he's going to shuffle around on the carpet a whole bunch, and then cast lightning bolt at one of the wolf things.
Static.
Cool. Which wolf are you going for? The one on the left or the one on the right?
I'll go for the one on the left up here.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Roll your.
So it
magic
is.
check to see if you succeed.
Galen, is anything you've got metal?
No, that one doesn't arc, Jim, thankfully. This is payback for those clothes. That is 10 to hit. Does that hit?
Okay. It is defense 12.
God damn it.
So not. I will just double check your spell. Does it automatically hit or is it a ranged attack?
I believe it's a ranged
I've
attack.
Not seen your...
Yeah,
so
it's
you
an attack.
unfortunately. Yeah, so unfortunately you miss it. Sort of as it sort of arcs towards your target, it sort of glances and it scoots to the side, and sort of these sparks just hit the ground and sort of shatter across the side, and it sort of bears down, staring towards you both. Is there anything else you would like to do?
I would like to yelp like a
sort of like movement.
startled child, and use any remaining movement to seek cover behind one of the pillars.
Okay, so you sort of move to the side, and sort of like after scuffling your feet, you put your shoes back on and you scoot off to the side to find yourself a little bit of cover behind a broken pew.
Superb.
Gillis, you're up next.
Yeah, just to reiterate, a stunt point I used last time was just all I did was take a magic point off the cost of the spell. It wasn't anything crazy.
Yep, that's cool.
So yeah, seeing that Galen's in trouble, and knowing how hard Mac is, I'm pretty sure he can hold that door as Todd. I'm going to run up and try and mana blast the left-hand creature, or Arcane Blast, sorry.
Where are you going to move to? Are you sort of going to move over to the left-hand side of the room?
No, I'm going straight down the middle.
Just straight down the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yep, so go for it. Go for your mana blast.
Ooh, 13 plus my accuracy is
Nice.
15.
Boom.
15.
Headshot.
That is a hit. Roll your damage.
Yeah, it's just got me type in another thing now, aren't you? 5.
You know there's a thing as physical dice, Jay.
I've got a whole bag of them behind me. But I'm doing it on the screen just so you guys can.
5 plus your willpower, is it not?
Oh yeah, 8 then.
Is it?
Nice.
8. Okay, nice. Cool. Okay. Fantastic. So, up next is Galen.
So having absorbed that hit, I think
I've
Galen's
just
going
got
to now
Ollie,
try and
who
move.
has not seen my mana blast. It is my cloak of like sort of crow's feathers around the shoulders. It's almost like a magical perception that one of the feathers sort of rises up, turns into a crow, and just darts into the enemy and explodes. It's not an actual crow. It's not. I can't fly it, and the feather doesn't come off my cloak. It's all metaphorical for my religion.
I've got this kind of
Sorry.
impression that Jay just looks like this kind of. Gillis looks like an anime character, like this kind of like feathered cloak, like shoots out. With that. Just to trigger Jay.
There's there's always a wind blowing, like billowing his cloak, like at all times.
Yeah.
And his emo quick
so
always
Galen's
blowing
gonna
the wind.
Galen, you're up.
Galen's going to step round this kind of having absorbed the hits from the two wolves that have come in. He's going to now step round the one on the right because the one on the left's kind of been blasted off. thanks to Tink and Galen's kind of like support. So he's going to step around the one on the right, step around it slightly, so he's kind of like on the other side, but kind of facing back towards where he came from. And he's just going to absolutely...
Yep, so you sort of scoot round to the
side. He's going to just absolutely mallet this one that he's next to now. So...
Go for
it.
So
-2
I like how
on
he
this,
absolutely malleted starting a fire.
Yeah. However, -2, but I also have fighting and bludgeon, so I'm adding +5 to this anyway, so +3, so 19.
19, nice. Well, that hits, and you've got a double 6 there, so you've got 6 stun points.
Oh, yes.
So I'm just going to go for the lethal blow, so add 2d6 extra damage to my attack, so this is going to be 3d6 +3. Let's kill this one.
Brought it down double-handed on top of his head.
So 16 damage, please, John.
Oh, nice. Good hit.
That's when you find the armor 112.
So as you sort of like crash this maul down onto the beast's head, you sort of hear it whelp, and it sort of like bares its fangs at you, and you sort of like smashed it across the face, and there's sort of just blood trickling down sort of round its eye. Again, the blood is dark. It's not sort of red claret, and sort of like it's almost like it wisps away as you hit it. That's a good hit. Nice. So, Galen, that was you. Mac, you're up next.
Okay. Mac will... I guess he's just going to continue holding the door because he's not sure that the cat thing's gone away. And he'll draw his crossbow and one-handed have a shot at that wolf that just got hit hard.
Badass.
Okay, so he's going to hold the door with one hand and sort of just turn and sort of try and shoot behind him. So I'm going to say, because sort of Gillis is there and there's a sort of a few pillars and pews, I will say it's going to be a little bit of a difficult shot. So -2 for your shot.
If I get a crossbow bolt on the back of the head, Mac, I swear to God.
Oh, that's not bad.
Only if he rolls a 5.
15 -2, so 13.
13 hits. Roll your damage.
And if my dex is higher than his, I get use my pinpoint accuracy. My dex is 3.
Nice.
Yep, so that's higher, so you get your pinpoint accuracy as well.
Okay. Crossbow
Sniper Mac.
3d6.
While holding a door.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, holding a door.
He's the most competent one of our group. I said this last time. It's still true.
It's just like a scene out of Wanted.
15 points of damage.
Curves the crossbow bolt.
How many?
15.
15?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, this wolf has got to be dead now.
It's just got absolutely annihilated.
15 points of damage.
Still going.
Okay, so as it like bolts in, as this bolt just flies out your crossbow, whizzes through Gillis, it just like, you feel it as it passes your head, and it just scoots straight, and it smacks this beast right into the neck, sort of hitting it just above where its carotid would be. And you sort of see this big splat of like black goose, and Galen, you think you're going to get hit by it, but it almost sort of just like dissipates before it reaches you. And it sort of like turns, but like rather than being like really aggressive with its turn, it sort of like seems to be quite limp and sort of lacking in energy. It looks really hurt indeed. So on to its go. With its sort of final throws, it's just going to like launch itself onto you, Galen. So that is a 13 to hit
this time. I've not got my guard up.
Oh, just hits, nice. And he does 14 points of damage. No stun points for me though. The other one on the other side of the room is just going to like launch itself towards Gillis, who sort of recently threw a crow at him. Sort of leaps across. And he rolls a 13 to hit.
My defense is 412.
Gosh, that's good.
No, it's 11.
Am I guessing that's going to hit you?
No, 0 armor.
Oh, really?
Snake eyes.
I rolled. Yeah, I did. I got Snake Eyes. So that's an almighty 6 points of
pretty good.
damage. To
Please tell me your soak is 6, Jay. That'd be hilarious.
No, I don't have any armour at all.
Feathers don't count for much in this. In the...
I was
get
hoping my
looking.
emo fringe would protect me from the most of the damage.
Okay, so
Oh, hello.
as you're sort of like hiding behind where you're at, Tantan, just through the window launches this sort of the shadowy beast from outside. Just flies down towards you, and it's going to try and sort of nobble you.
You know
in
the
cover.
fable
You get
of
plus
the evil
one.
residents.
I remember that. I was about to say that.
You get -1 to his roll because you're in -2 because you're in some light cover hidden behind the pew. Although actually he's kind of flanking you. So, but I've rolled pretty crap. I say pretty crap. 6. I've rolled -2.
I'm okay. My defense is 12.
Hey.
Yay!
I
10
just
wins.
missed. I would have had
something.
6 stunt points
God.
as well. Ah.
It's almost
Okay,
like
so,
you want to
over
kill
to you,
Tantan
folks.
just as much as the rest of the party.
No, I would never
I
want to
don't think
kill
we want to see
Tantan.
him killed, just humiliated, like a...
What? Wait a minute. Let's pause combat for a
By
second.
the way, Adam.
Sorry.
What do you mean, more humiliated?
So far, we've thrown him in the river, burnt his clothes, took the piss out of his eyes. He's just.
Mac threatened to beat him.
Yeah,
last
exactly.
time. He's like,
I mean,
Yeah,
at the
we've
start
known him
of
for
this
8 hours.
episode, Mac has tried to throw him somewhere or beat him up.
Exactly. This is what I mean.
They call him Tan Strength Test.
Tink,
Tan.
you're up.
so at this point, Tink will. He's been so used to like having his pistol auto reload that he's not really sure what's going on here. But he's he's pointing his pistol at the wolf that's bearing down on Gillis, and he's just hearing a click. So he's reasoned that he's now got to physically reload it himself. So I think that's going to be his major action. How many minors can I do?
1 minor. So it's 1 minor, 1 major, or you could do 2 minors.
I think all he's going to do is sort of move up to near Gillis and Tantan just so that he's close enough to assist next turn. I don't think he can do a lot else.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
cool.
I've got this wrong. Sorry.
So
Can
you
I
do
just
that and sort of
clarify?
like.
Is it? I thought it was 2 minors and a major. Is it 1 minor and a major?
Yeah, 1
We
minor.
can turn a
and
major
Or
into 2 minors.
Or 2 minors. Yeah. Okay, cool. So up next is Tantan.
Big rolls. So, what he's going to do is he is going to cast. I'm trying to make my mind up here. He's going to do Shock Blast, which I believe is an instant hit. Because electricity arcs from your hands or arcane device shocking enemies in a 6 yard by 6 yard area. Anyone in the area takes 1d6 plus willpower.
That sounds an awful lot like an AoE
Yeah, that
when we're
sounds
stood
like
really close.
anyone in the
Is
area.
it? Wait a minute. Is it? Can I determine the area to be in front of me, or is it just around me? Okay.
I think it's around
Like
you. It's
plan
like
the
it's
floor.
like
Can I
energy just on the
rephrase my
ground.
attack roll, please, John? I don't
Yes,
need to
of course
give
you can.
my fellow teammates any more ammunition to try and hurt me. What I will do instead, my original thought, was I'm going to cast Jolt on the wolf cat thing.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I need
Right.
to do an attack roll.
Do you need to locate any more carpet, or have you got sufficient carpet this time? To...
No, he's gonna
You need a balloon.
He's
You
gonna
just got, you got
rub himself up and down, and he's gonna.
Now's not the time.
Oh
Tantan.
jeez, he's not rolling well at all. That's a 10.
Seems like I should have
It's
brought
exactly
all my
the
polyethylene.
same roll as I got last time. I got a 6 and 2 1s.
This completely
Oh,
incompetent wizard.
So you need 11. You need 11. 11 to
So
succeed,
far, all
and then
we've
it
seen
would
is
hit.
this wizard
So-
walk around, like, rub himself and like, scoot around on the carpet.
You should have done it like a dog
It's
and
like
just dragged
it's
your
like
arse
sort
down
of
the
like
carpet.
at this moment you go, you sort of try and cast the spell, and you're like as you reach out to get it, it just sort of like bats your hand to one side, and you sort of like put your hand on the nearest pew, and you shock the pew instead of the beast in front of you, and it sort of just bares its fangs. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Can
So you've got a minor action as well.
I'm not sure how it sort of works. Do they have opportunity attacks in this?
No, you can sort
Okay,
of move
I will
away
move
from them.
one square back, sort of to the left-hand side there. So form a little conga line,
Okay.
if you could, in line with all the other people.
Oh, diagonal.
Yeah, diagonal.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so you sort of try and move a little bit away from it. That's fine. Cool. So up next is Gillis.
Okay, so we've got this were-cat creature shadow dog bear.
Any other
Bearing
mammals?
down on me. Chipmunk.
Yeah.
Bearing down on me. Yeah, just it's gonna have to be a mana blast, I think. All I can do.
Unleash the crows.
Unleash the crows.
Unleash
Krogan.
the crow.
Release the Krogan.
Tentacle
That's great.
crow. That's coming. I'm gonna reach my ultimate form. So hang on, let me.
He's evolved.
The Quiffen. That's 1d6 in ball. Sorry, there we go. Ooh, actually, it's plus my accuracy of 2 is only 11.
11, that doesn't hit, unfortunately. So you sort of like fling this feather out, and it sort of turns the crow, and it just blasts out towards the side.
Flies
And it
off.
just sort of misses on, hits the ground, and just sort of just like, you know, and there's almost like as it hits the ground, rather than exploding with mana, it sort of like almost poofs out into feathers as it sort of just hits the side. Is there anything else you would like to do? A minor action
Yeah,
at all?
probably just back off and just let Tink have this. I think he's got it.
Okay, so you're just going to try and back away, move to the side. Okay, Galen, you're up.
Yes, I think I'm in combat with this.
Finish him.
Yeah, finish him. I'm in combat with this kind of cat bear thing.
Yep.
Dark energy. So at this point, I think I'm just going to aim, and
bear
this
thing.
thing needs to eat dust. Like,
Okay,
so aim
roll to hit.
and
Ethereal.
attack.
Okay, so aiming, yep, so that's +1 to your hit.
So 15, 16.
Yeah, that hits, roll damage.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Puppy.
And you've got 4 stun
Four
points as well.
stunt points. Let's have a look at what stunty stunts with that. What's like a really cool stunt to do at the moment?
Kill it.
You can... Well,
Just do another lethal blow. Just finish it off.
no, it's 5, unfortunately.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, let's do.
You can do 1d6 though, can't you?
I'm going to do lightning attack, so I can make a second attack against the same enemy or a different one within range. Yeah. So I do a second attack after this one if it survives. Let's roll some damage.
Okay.
So it's 1d6 plus 3 on this. So first one does 5 damage.
So as you bring your hammer down onto the head, and it's sort of just like you hear this audible crunch and crack as it just smashes in on its skull, and its eyes just lose all sort of colour, and just not that they had much to start with, and they just sort of roll back, and you sort of just like squelch your hammer out from the skull of this creature, and it slumps down to the ground in front of you. This sort of black, sort of oozy shadow just falling out of it, and as it sort of starts to sort of lose whatever life force it has, it sort of almost starts to dissipate its form and disappear into dust in front of you.
Hit it again, Kim. 24 referencing.
Right, I think we've got a connection for Galen there, so we'll move on to Mac. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think he's going to realise that the wolf isn't a cat thing isn't outside the door anymore. He will drop his crossbow, charge at the nearest cat thing, and pull out his two-handed maul and have a swing at it.
Okay,
He's
so-
doing a charge attack, is it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, charge attack, so it'll be the one sort of that's just to the side of where Tantan was, that was bearing down on him, so sort of you charge towards with your two-handed maul. So roll to hit with your charge attack.
I thought you were just going to say keep holding the door. That was hilarious.
Oh, door.
So plus one on your attack roll, and yeah, you're more than in range to do the charge.
Okay, that's 14 plus 1 is 15, and I got 2 stunt points.
Nice, good. So that hits. Roll damage.
And I'm going to use my pinpoint actually on the wolf to get my extra d6.
Cool, go for it.
I need to do something about my...
Okay, and I'm going to use my stunt points to do a mighty blow, so that's 4d6 against him.
Nice.
Go for it.
Meh. That's 16 points of damage.
16.
Only.
Nice.
I mean, I
Good
feel
hit.
a little bit useless in
Awesome.
this fight. I'm just going to say that.
Just in this fight?
Okay,
Tantan,
so,
or-
Whoa!
Just, you know.
Throwing I mean, normally it's Jay that throws the shade.
Now that we've got Galen back as well, is there anything else you would like to do after celebrating your kill of the
Yeah, I'd like
creature?
to use that lightning strike to just hit its corpse again and like pound it into the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, so like as it's turning to dust, you
Yeah.
just start smashing it. Sort of this sort of slowly disappearing sort of body in front of you.
You've got to be sure.
Okay, so it's on to their go. So this one is going to charge towards
Oh
Tink.
my.
And it's going to try and hit you, Tink. So +1 to its roll.
Help!
That is a 14.
Yeah, I'm only defense 11.
Okay. And it does... that is 10 points of damage.
Minus my armour of 5.
Ooh.
Yep, so 5
And
points
that's
of
one
damage
was
to you.
amazing.
The other one
Armoured body.
is going to also attack Tink. Sort of feels like there's an opportunity for some gang tactics here. And that is a 13 to hit again.
Yep.
So I believe that does
It
hit. And
does.
I've got 2 stunt points. So what I'm going to use for those 2 stunt points is I'm going to use Pierce Armour. No, I'm not. I'm going to use Mighty Blow. Let's use a Mighty Blow. So that's 2d6 damage plus 3. So that is 10, 14 points of
Down
damage.
to 9. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so that is their go. So up next is Tink.
Well, I think at this point he will probably step back as best he can. So I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay.
All the while, he's gonna. He won't be able to aim, so he's just gonna have to take a shot with his pistol at the.
Go for it.
I think he'll hit the one that hit him first. He's probably gonna focus one down more than spread his fire.
Yeah, so as he sort of like moves away, he goes to take
Yep.
the shot.
Let's see what he gets. 3d6 plus accuracy. Oh yes, double 6 and a 1 on the stunt dice. Unfortunately. Plus
Nice. So it's 1 stunt.
Yeah, I can do pierce armor because that only costs 1 stunt point, so I might do that.
Okay, cool.
Well, that's definitely a hit, right? So that's 13 plus my accuracy of 2. Yeah,
definitely
14.
a hit.
Okay, so I will pierce armor with that stunt point, and I am 1d6 plus 3. Another 6, so 9. And then piercing
9
armor.
points damage. Okay, and piercing armor as well. Okay, cool. So up next is after
Okay.
Tink, we have Tantan.
Actually,
Oh.
sorry guys. Can
Oh.
I change the pierce armor to rapid reload so that his auto loaders kick in?
Yes, of course, you can.
Cool. I will reach into the folds of my robe and pull out some berries that are like slightly mouldy and looking a bit grim, and I will mumble something into them as I cup them in my hand and force them down Tink's throat and cast healing touch. And I'll say, it works on other people, I'm sure it'll work on your kind. So that...
And sort of flings them into your gullet. So roll your
So I'm gonna
check for
5.
that. So it's a target value.
Yeah,
of 10.
I don't have to roll anything for this, I don't think, apart
Turns
from
out they're
the
massively
health.
corrosive to any sort of.
Classic.
Poisonous to
Just
Orions.
my luck. So I'm going to
Right,
spend
Bino,
3
keep
magic
trying.
points to roll 3d6. So that is 9. You receive 9 points of healing.
Hey.
Cool. I will double check.
Oh,
I
has
believe
it?
it's got a target.
Have I got a roll?
10 because we've had yeah. So it's got a target.
Okay, so
number
I've got
of
a
10,
roll on it.
So
Okay.
you do need to
Oh,
roll above a
great.
10. Yeah,
Here we
and then
go.
you.
That one.
Here comes a 9.
Hey!
Hey.
Hey! He's done something good!
Yay! Is that our first success
You-
at magical
It is.
healing? I
I've
think
done
I
it
believe
once
it.
before, just once.
Yeah, you did 1 health point now or something, didn't you?
so. You get
Shut up, Jay. It was still
you
1
get
point.
9.
Don't ruin this for me.
So you get 9
So
points of health.
Does Tink
back.
get the sort of Popeye animation going on at that point as well?
Yeah.
Jamming spinach down your gullet.
Cool. So yeah, 9 points of health back for Tim.
Thank you very much.
You're very
So
welcome.
up next is Gillis.
Okay, which of these man-bear pigs have already been wounded?
The horizontal one.
They've both been
Yeah.
been hit a little bit. The one that's sort of in the
That's
middle
what I shot with the crow, isn't it?
of the room in front of you looks a little bit worse. The one that you shot at last
I think
time.
I've shot it twice now.
Yeah, he's getting a little lick of this. I'm going to try and step round to his flank, though, before I do so.
Okay. Yep.
Just to sort of give
That's cool.
him options. That's not me.
That's me.
Ooh, I've got my pointy emo finger. Where's my milky eye? Roll 3d6. 11 plus my accuracy of
Smash
2
is
is
like
13.
Yep, that hits. Roll your damage.
It's 3, 6 total. Plus my willpower.
6 total. Okay.
I feel such a wuss, like my 6
Nice.
damage as Matt got 4d6.
I feel a bit impotent.
Galen, you're up next.
So at this point, I think I'm just like having absolutely destroyed this man bear, whatever it is on the floor. We'll call them just man bear,
Man-bear
cat,
peg.
pig things.
Tiger.
I'm just gonna chuck down my maul. I don't even have a sword, so I'm gonna chuck that. Just because this character that you've got on the Roll20 map has got a shield, I'm gonna chuck down my maul and just leg it towards the one that's in front of Mac and just drop kick it.
Okay.
John!
It's like been imbued
front of
with
Mac?
all this,
You're gonna
like,
drop
no,
kick?
the one in
Cool.
front of Mac.
This
sorry.
is definitely going to go well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So I would like you to roll to hit. Go on. So it's a charge, I'll say. So you can get +1 to your roll.
Johnny Wilkinson kicks
Do
for
you know
World
what?
Cup
Am I adding
glory.
fighting, or is this more like a?
So this would be
Oh, good.
fighting. Yeah. So this will be an unarmed attack.
So 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. Then if I'm adding +2 to it.
Nice.
16. Okay. So that hits. What is your
My strength. Oh goodness, you're asking me a weird question. 2.
Okay, cool. I would like to roll. You roll a 1d3. In fact, it would have been your accuracy, but I think
there's
you would
no
have hit
D3s
anyway,
in
so
this,
it would have
John.
been accuracy.
Roll a d6
No,
and
so
half
what you
it.
can do is roll a d6.
Like you do
half it.
normally.
I've got a 1 then.
It's lockdown, he hasn't played in 2 years.
3 damage.
No, that's a 2. That's a 2, Adam.
2.
Okay,
2.
that's 2. That's
Plus-
2.
plus
so,
2,
yeah,
so
you
4.
round up. So okay. So you managed to sort of, like, you slide in and you go to hit it. And yeah, so it's plus your accuracy. So 4
Plus
damage
my
times.
Play
accuracy.
Eldar. How do you not know what a d3 is?
Sorry. It's 2. It's 2 damage plus the 2 from my accuracy, so 4 damage in total.
Cool, that's fine. Yeah, so 4 damage minus his armor. So you can come in and you drop kick it, you smash it, and it like smacks it in the shoulder, and it sort of like bares its teeth and sort of looks towards you with a menacing grin. Mac, over to you.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna, as he's distracted, I'm gonna take my time, aim, and swing my maul at him.
Go for it.
I'm going to mock you for this, Mac, having to use a weapon to destroy this beast.
Ooh, this
Says
might
the
not
man
be
who couldn't
good.
work out the d3.
What's that?
Eldar player can't work out what d3 is.
Okay, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. Oh, 11
I
misses.
should not have aimed.
You come
That was your problem.
It's just like you take your moment
Don't
as
think,
it's
Mac, don't
distracted,
think,
and
just
almost like
swing.
you bring your maul down where its head was, and then as it looks towards Galen, it just sort of like you smash it down, and it like clinks across the stone of the floor. So it's on to them. So this one is bearing down at Galen, so it's going to try and hit you after you've drop kicked it. So that is a
gonna be
16
a hit.
to hit.
Oh.
That is 15
Okay.
points of
Wow.
damage.
I bet your soap got be high.
It's only 4.
This one here, so that one's going to be mauling into you. So this one here is going to turn on Gillis, I think, because it's the one that sort of just tried it. It's going to try and stop itself being flanked. So it's going to move back round, circle round Gillis, and try and hit you. Oh
Clever girl.
lordy, I'm very sorry. So that is a almighty 21 to hit.
Well, my defence is 400
Any more of those
as well.
berries,
and-
Tantan?
And 5
Got some
stun
more rotten
points.
berries
Okay.
for you.
So I'm going to do lethal
Yep.
blow as it launches towards you. So that is in total 12 plus 4, 16 points of damage.
Which is but a flesh wound. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 points of damage, and it's going to use
Yeah, it's
'cause it had
16
5 stun
points damage.
so it's not going to do anything else. So
Yeah.
16 total, yeah. Cool. So up next is Tink.
Okay, well he's reloaded, but he's not really got a shot. Then again, can I fire past Gillis into that wall?
Yeah, you can. I'll give it as the creature's got cover though, as you try and shoot
Alright.
past you.
So he'll aim. Then I think it's probably
Yep.
makes sense to rather than snap firing when there's somebody right in front
Yeah.
of him.
So that'll just be that'll be -1 to your roll.
Oh, what? Double 6, 2 on the stunt dice, plus my accuracy
Nice.
of 2. So I'm looking at 12, 14, 16 -1, 15.
Yeah, that
Okay,
hits.
so I've got
Roll
2
your
stunt
damage.
points there, which is good. So damage is 1d6 plus 3. Can I add any damage to this?
You can have
1d6, mighty blow. Yeah.
1d6, yeah.
Yeah, you know what, let's
1d6
do that.
if you wish.
So 6 plus the 3 is 9 damage.
9 damage. Okay, so as you bring your pistol up and you sort of like aim round Gillis, and Gillis sort of just moves slightly to turn to the new threat, and you see your opportunity, you shoot, and it smacks it straight into the skull, just through where its eye is, and it sort of just like almost in an instant just sort of like yelps and drops and falls down to the ground. And as it does so, again, it sort of just seems to sprinkle into dust, and sort of its form just seems to break down, and sort of it's almost as if it's not stable enough to exist, and sort of just disappears out into ash and blackened ash over the next following few seconds.
Snapped.
Okay, so
I
Tantan, you're
am
next.
going to stop it with the fancy stuff, and I'm just going to do an Arcane Blast. Because so far,
Doesn't cost
Go
any
for it.
points.
well, true. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening via the podcast, I just rolled a 7, which is a total
Whoa,
of
hates you.
9. So I don't think I've rolled
Wow.
above a 12 this whole game.
No. So again, you
You're
sort
stealing
of
my
like
fucking
conjure up your
thunder
magic.
here.
What is your arcane blast like? What does he do when he's casting his
Apparently
arcane
nothing
blast?
this round, but normally it's sort of some very elaborate, almost geriatric finger-like motions to summon forth a ball of like dark blue, almost black energy that gets sent forward.
Before you rocked, if I was the low
Okay, so
roller
you sort of
of the
start to
group,
conjure this up, and you fling it out towards the beast, and it just sort of like careers off and smashes into a nearby pillar, blasting a little bit out of the pillar instead of your intended target. Gillis, you're up.
obviously taking a bit of a knock there, but Gillis does not give in. That's sort of one of his things. His willpower is quite high, and he sort of grits his teeth, and he's sort of lost it a little bit now that he's so low in health. Rather than doing the normal, sensible thing of a Arcane Blast, he just draws his cudgel and just starts swinging for the fences on this other wolf.
Okay, go for it. Are you charging in? Okay, +1 to your roll.
I went well.
Hey, welcome to
So
the
he sort of
club.
like charges
Fighting,
in and
is it?
tries to go and hit this beast. No. That misses, unfortunately.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I've
fighting.
got 7 for fighting. I've not. I've got 1.
I was going to say, you got 7.
A maul is
No.
fighting, yeah.
It's
So,
not a cudgel. It's like a
yeah.
little, almost like a rounder's bat wrapped in iron.
Yeah, so that would be, pretty much.
Yeah,
that
he's
would be
got fighting 1. So no.
Yeah,
But
no.
he's enjoying it. He's enjoying himself.
So you miss.
And that's the main thing.
Having a good time. Okay, so up next is
Yeah, so
Gabe.
I guess like in all this kind of combat, he charged in, drop kick this thing that was
Suplexed
climbing
it.
through the window. Well, I tried to. He's now on the floor. This thing's turned towards him. He's like, but for some reason he feels this like inner calm and kind of like just warmth from within him. And I guess what he's gonna do is just get up on his feet,
himself.
lunge at this
himself.
wolf and punch. But like, it feels more like an act of faith than it does anything else. He can feel this kind of like fire
Go for
within
it.
his fists.
So he goes to punch. So that is on your accuracy.
Oh dear.
So 11. I have brawling as well. Does brawling fifth?
Yeah. So brawling would be a focus
Okay.
in this.
Oh, what's the focus? Oh yeah.
So that would be
Okay,
+2
so
to
2.
your
So
roll.
I've got 4 plus 9 is 13.
13 hits. So roll your D3 of damage.
So I'm rolling a d6, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes.
D6.
Hey,
So that's
3.
5.
Hey,
5
so
damage.
3. So 5 total. Nice. Okay, so nice. So you sort of come in with this punch and sort of smack it on the same spot which you drop kicked it, and it sort of yelps and just turns towards you, ready to pounce on you. Sort of like feeling that you're its closest aggressor. Mac, you're up next.
Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna... a bit embarrassed. Aim again. This time, swing and hit at its head, hopefully. Oh, no. No.
Which one of us gets
Oh
hit?
no, I've started.
No, that was 8.
That was 8. Okay, no. So aiming and hitting, you try and hit it again. It's sort of like there's almost like just in the chaos that's going on. You've got Gillis trying to smack it in the head with his cudgel. You've got Galen just like punching it, and you're there going like trying to aim and smack down on it, and you're getting just like overwhelmed by everything at the moment. And it leads you to miss one more time. So it's going to have a go at you, Galen. That is a 20 to hit.
Is that a crit?
No, not in this. It's no stunt points. You're lucky. I rolled a 4, 5, and a 6. So that is but I have rolled 11 plus 4, so that is 15 points of damage.
Cool. I'm on 6 health points left.
I want to
Okay.
for the club.
Out of 30.
And you've got armour.
15 points of damage. So up next is Tink.
Well, I was planning to reload, but I think seeing the beating that people are getting, I think he's just going to have to step in. So can he kind of elbow Gillis aside? Because I'm guessing he's kind of in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he elbows Gillis to the side. No, I'll let that happen. So, like, are you just coming in with your rapier?
Yeah, I think that's all he can do, really.
Yeah. Okay,
So-
go for it. So you sort of elbow Gillis out to the side, and you sort of come in to try and hit it.
Well, the important thing is that I tried.
I feel like I've started a knock-on reaction.
You do get,
7.
because it is significantly outnumbered. You do get +2
Oh, really?
to your roll.
Okay. So 2,
yeah.
4, 6, 7,
So-
8, 9.
9. That still misses. So despite all of this going on at the moment, you sort of it's dodging itself, and like after it's sort of like it's almost pounced on Galen, and you can't quite get to it. So up next, Tantan.
Okay, who's really low on health?
Galen's got less than me.
Okay.
But I've got no armour.
Galen looks pretty beat up.
Tantan looks across at Galen's like, it's berry time! And he's
runs
gonna try and
round.
shove
In his
some
non-spam.
berries down.
Okay, try and shove some berries
Hey!
in his face.
So,
That's double figures. That's the highest
So,
in level 9.
how many magic
I
points are you gonna
know,
use?
it's crazy. I will expend 3 magic points to roll 3d6. Hey, that's good. 12.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice. 12 points of healing for you as you chop
They
down
are
these
slightly
berries.
acrid and
Ooh.
very musty, as is
these
everything
berries.
about Tantan.
But you do, whilst the taste is not very nice, you do feel rejuvenated when they sort of like land down and they start going down your gullet. It's almost like there's this force of energy just pulsing through your body that just makes you feel a little bit stronger than
Makes
you
you wet
were.
himself again.
Up next, Gillis.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep swinging. I'm sort of a bit of a frenzy at the moment.
Go for it.
Oh, hang on, that's not my roll. Oh, he
Was
spotted
it
it
better
again.
for the listener?
He spotted it again. Hang on, I'm
Oh,
+2 because it's outnumbered.
Just trying to hit.
So I'm
Yeah,
on
+2
13.
because it's outnumbered, yeah.
Hey.
13, that
Hey.
hits. Roll your damage.
Jesus, I've never used my cudgel before. What's a cudgel? Like a club.
So your cudgel would be...
Club's 1d6, is
I
it?
would say... Yeah, 1d6.
Plus 400. 4.
Cool. Plus your... it will be your
Oh,
accuracy.
2 then. 5.
Well, actually, bludgeon. So, plus your fighting. sorry.
5 then.
5. Okay, cool. Nice. Awesome. So, up next is Mac.
Right.
No, it's not. It's
Oh.
Galen. Galen.
I'm gonna try and punch this thing. I've had enough of it. I'm just gonna like climb
Go for
myself
it.
on top of
Go
it
get your
and
ball.
just. I just want to try and like prise its jaws apart and just like rip the top part of its skull off the bottom part, if that makes sense.
Okay, go for
Hulking
it.
out.
So, as you sort of like, I'm going to just do this as an unarmed
I
attack.
don't know what
Go
I'm
for
rolling.
it.
I'll roll 3 dice.
Roll,
No.
roll your 3d6. Plus,
Oh!
plus your,
I think
plus
that-
your fighting.
wow.
No, okay. So that is a little bit. So as you try and sort of like grab its face, it's like you miss, and you sort of like it's like crawling, it's like snapping at you because it's trying to attack you, and you sort of like go to grab its face, and it's almost like nips you on the finger as you do so, and you're like ah, and you sort of move away from it.
For the benefit of the listener,
okay.
Adam rolled a 4 on 3d6.
Yep, that's pretty impressive. It's almost as good as
I
his
wish
healing
James would
rolls.
roll that when I
Um,
she is custodes in 40k, but it doesn't do that.
Hey.
Okay, so
Heyo.
up next
Shots fired.
is Mac.
Right.
Don't aim, Mac.
Mac.
Don't aim.
Is going to steady himself. He's going to aim very carefully.
Oh
He's
no!
going to rest these maul on the damn thing's head, lift it up, and smack it on the damn head.
Like he's gauging a nail with a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a golf ball.
Give it to me, I-
Okay,
many of us are on
okay,
top
that's
of this
okay.
thing right now?
And that was 12.
Die!
12. Yeah, so did you add your 2 for
I know that was
outnumbering it as
14. If,
well? Okay, so yeah, so you managed to hit it, so roll your
Oh.
damage.
7d6.
and he's going to use his pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah, for an extra d6.
And so that's
22.
15 points of damage.
Woo!
Okay, I would like you to describe the killing blow.
Hey!
Right, it is. It is not spectacular. Mac is just being super careful with his accuracy, and he's just more utterly relieved that he hit the damn thing than anything else.
So they're like, so you aim it up, you bring it down, and you smash. It's sort of like there's this sort of intermingle of Galen trying to grab its head, and you're sort of like, I must not hit Galen's hands, and you sort of smash it down, and it's sort of just this almighty crunch, and as you sort of hit it, as the maul is going through the point at which you aimed, it almost just seems to dissipate into shadow and dust, and just sort of dissipates around as this being's life energy has disappeared. And a calm sort of resides through the chaos and clamour of the last few moments. you sort of take a moment to have a bit of a breather and sort of look round at the rest of your group as you've just managed to survive the little ambush from these creatures that you don't know what exactly they were. As you sort of like take this moment, you do notice outside in the windows where one of them came from, sort of Galen and Tantan, as you're by there, you do notice there's almost like a little makeshift camp in this small courtyard. And you notice that there's just 2 bodies lying next to this sort of camp.
What can we discern from the camp? Does it look recent, or is it quite old?
It looks relatively recent, sort of fresh. They're like the bodies, as you sort of look from this distance, they're sort of like slumped over to the side. They look like they've been chewed on.
We're like, in the courtyard there's some other people. They look a bit dead, though.
Gillis chimes in with I think we should bury them. I mean, it seems like the right thing to do.
What's the access? How do we get through to the courtyard? Is it just sort of like...
I think you've got to go down that corridor.
Yeah.
So you could manage to climb through the window, probably. You could get to that way, but you do also, as you're sort of like looking out, you see there's a little entrance over on the side of the chamber.
I'd like to head around and see if I can find the Palace Plantolum that I'm looking for.
Okay, so you start to make your way towards the courtyard.
Yeah. So I think Galen's obviously been down on the floor and kind of battered about in this. He's going to stand up though, look pretty proud, dust himself off, and kind of like just gesture to Mac and be like, "Well, you took long enough, mate."
Yeah, they were tricky to hit. They kept moving.
Why don't you just punch it? Come on, man.
I'm not as good at punching as you are, obviously.
Clearly.
You'll have to teach me that kick. That looked cool.
Well, these are secret techniques that only the Ember Order know.
Ah.
Oh, they're secret technique for starting fires.
Even they don't know it.
It's so secret.
Emo boy.
With your feet.
Yeah, Gillis is actually just panting really, really hard from his frenzy. And he's got his cudgel in his hand and he's just like looking around for more targets and there's nothing else, and he's obviously quite pissed off at this fact. He puts it back in his belt loop and he's still panting very heavily, but yeah, down on 7 health points. He's pretty roughed up, so he's going to just squat.
Galen's going to notice this and be like, look, I can help you out here. And he's going to try and heal him.
Oh no.
Go.
As if Gillis couldn't get any angrier.
Hey!
Oi! Look at that.
Oh, Shiza.
15.
5
Nice.
stunt points.
Look at that. 5 stunt points.
5 stun points on your magic.
It's going to do piercing blow.
It's actually deadly strike.
555 is the number of the Ember Beast.
Yeah, you're now on fire, Jack.
It's cauterized the wounds, but yeah, you're still burning.
So I think all this kind of like magic energy flowing out of him during the recent combat has obviously helped him imbue the kind of like healing that he's imparting on Gillis. That it also empowers himself. So I'm actually going to use it to do split spell, which is basically cast it again but on himself.
Nice.
So I believe this is...
Unaware to Galen, he's absorbing Gillis' life force.
So this basically gives us 3d6 health points back each. So let's roll some dice.
Awesome.
9 health points back each.
Nice, good. Okay. Sort of at this moment as well, as you sort of all take this moment to gather your thoughts, you do get the opportunity to have a breather. And so, just to remind you, after each combat encounter, you can opt to have a breather.
Yes.
And when you do have said breather,
Yes.
you just take a few moments to catch your breath post the combat. And what you get is 5 plus your constitution plus your level in health.
Awesome. Fully healed again.
Do that.
I think Tink at this point is just inspecting the auto-loading mechanism in his arm. He's got kind of a couple of panels on his arm open and he's inspecting what's going on and he's reloading the pistol as he does so. That's pretty much all he's doing. He's not really concerned with what what anyone else is doing at this point.
Is that Tantan just running around outside like frantic?
So Tantan,
What's going on?
I would like you to make a perception searching check as you search for your herb.
It's like Alan Titchmarsh on speed.
The geriatric Alan Titchmarsh.
With boggle-eyed.
14.
Yeah, so
shrubbery.
You managed to find a good quantity of the herb growing in one of the corners of the courtyard where the makeshift camp was made, and you managed to collect yourself enough for your experiments.
Could I start making a little fire, please, John?
Yes, indeed you can. So there's already the fireplace that's there. Like you can see, like there's a little circle of stones and a little bit of ash. There's sort of a little pile of wood just over to one side by the two bodies as well.
Okay, I will start the little fire, and I will take some of the leaves, and I will tear them up and put them into a little tin cup of mine, and like balance them on top of the logs.
Okay, so you start doing that. What would everybody else like to do?
Where's Jeremy during all this?
Mac is about to go and check on Jeremy.
Okay, so Mac,
There we go.
you turn round and go back to the corner where you left Jeremy, and Jeremy has just stood with this crown, sort of slumped over his head, so he can't really see anything. But he's just stood obediently, just in the corner of the room, just off to one side, just waiting for you.
Oh, there you are, Jeremy. Are you okay? Those cats were a bit irritating.
It looks up at you and bleats at you and sort of looks at you and you sort of
Thanks, Alexa.
Thank you, Alexa.
I didn't realise sheep noises summoned Alexa.
Yeah, right.
Alexa, stop. Anyway, let's carry on.
Wild Alexa appears.
I'll cut that. Cut that one out. Anyway,
Leave it in. That's brilliant.
I love that.
Anyway,
Just let
wonders of
Alexa
recording
GM.
live. He was telling me about something about 11 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, moving onwards. So, where were we? Yes, so you found Jeremy happily sort of sits there and bleats at you. And what would you like to do, the rest of you? Anything else?
Gillis wants to bury the bodies that they found. It just makes sense from his religious perspective. He's to put them back in the ground, let them do their thing.
So you make your way out to the small courtyard, and there's these sort of two bodies down here. And as you get closer, you do really obviously see that whatever these creatures were, they clearly feasted on these two bodies, as there's sort of just flesh and bone exposed. Most of the flesh is gone. There's still bits of it here. They're relatively fresh. You do notice there's a satchel off to one side, and you also see a dagger lying off to the side, and sort of this makeshift camp.
Okay, I'll probably search a place first. I mean, Gillis's religion dictates, you have to put the dead back in the ground, really, but they don't need their stuff to do so.
Okay, so, as you make a search, I would like you to roll a perception searching test, please.
Chest. There's a chest. I heard you say it. Let's find the right roll. There it is. 12. Perception is 14.
14, good, and you actually get some stunt points on that for exploration stunts. Probably there's a few things that you could do, but essentially with that roll, you find over the two corpses, sort of in pockets and various other things, you find about 15 silver.
Minted.
You find quite easily, because it's lying on the side, a dagger, and you also find a bloody axe next to the second corpse. As you sort of reach into the satchel, you open up the satchel and you find a note. You sort of open up the note, and it's a mercenary contract. And on that mercenary contract, it simply says, Employee, Rufus de Chivra and Yarrick Halfdanson. Employer, Mr. Smith. Job, retrieve brooch matching illustration from old monastery in swamps north of Marquis, and then return to Sword and Shield Agency in Marquis or Goldcrest. And it's got the seal of the Sword and Shield Agency at the base. One that you're familiar with, having done the old mercenary job yourself. Alongside this, in the bag, you find a small brooch. What the brooch looks like is this intermingled sort of twisting of silver strands and 3 red gems. Some of the bits and pieces look like they could move.
Okay, so Gillis is just going to pocket all of that. And just let things calm down before he reveals it to everyone else.
Okay, so you're sort of there and you sort of sit next to Tan, who's there with the little fireplace. Is there anything anybody else would like to do?
I think at this point Tink is just like, because he's got a bit of a thirst for knowledge, so he's just kind of wandering the kind of ruins and just like documenting everything like internally.
So as you wander the ruins, you sort of make your way, like instinctively you sort of follow Tan, and as Tan goes off to the right, you go to the left, and you sort of look, and you see there's a little set of staircase, as a sort of set of staircases. There's a staircase just going down underneath. You know about sort of the rudimentary sort of beliefs of humans, that they tend to bury their dead underneath places of worship in crypts, and having a look around, not seeing any other entrances, it does look like it's potentially the crypt of this place.
Okay, yeah, I think he would, do his old tea light trick, click his fingers, light a tea light, slot it into his head so he's got some light, and he'd probably wander down there. Okay,
so he starts to wander down. Is anybody else coming with Tink?
So before Tink does that, I guess I'm not going to go with Tink, but I think Galen, hearing kind of what's going on out in the courtyard, and knowing that the deal that we had with Tan to kind of find his herbs and get this staff transcribed, I think he's going to kind of walk out into the courtyard and be like, hey, come on, right, we've got you your herbs now, we want help with this stuff, you're going to need to tell us what this is, and kind of demand a bit of information, kind of push him back and back him away from his little fire that he's doing, whatever he's doing, if he's trying to get high or whatever. We don't really care. Just want to know what's going on with this.
Because I got
this stuff.
He goes, wait, almost done. I finish, then I look at stuff.
Oh no,
book,
you
yes.
don't finish, wizard. You tell us what's on this staff right now.
No, I need this potion. It'll help me focus.
I'm not sure I trust this though. Mac, bring the staff.
Mac brings the staff over along with Jeremy,
so you
and he puts his crown back on his head as he's going.
At a jaunty angle.
I say, Mac, tell this wizard he needs to tell us what's on your King Mac staff.
Wizard, what is on my King Mac staff?
Take it. Let me have a look. Everyone, calm down. Yes. Pass the staff and the book. Yes, the book too.
Okay, so it will take you a little bit of time to sort of digest all the information on it. Just so you know, I have messaged you, Ollie, with some information on these items. So it will take you a little bit of time to look over them. But just to start with, the information you glean from the staff, because this is quite easy to look at and sort of, have a quick look over. You instantly work out that it is of a dwarven creation. You can sort of see that the runes in its side are master crafted and ancient. The dwarvish is quite old. It's not current. However, you do have a little glance over the runes, and you notice they're all to do with light magic, protection, heroism, and healing. At this current moment, there's not much else you can glean from it, because it's got no magical power. It seems to be inert. It's almost as if the magic has been drained from it. And you surmise that actually, with it being a dwarven creation, you'd probably need to go and see a dwarven artificer to actually find out more. And it's at this moment that you sort of think, as you're looking at this, going, I don't actually know of any dwarves in the Aurum coast that would be even able to do this. You might even have to go and search for the dwarves in the mountains. And that's sort of the information that you glean as you're glancing over it and processing it with sort of your fast mind.
I will relay this information onto the group in my usual erratic. Yeah.
That was not a great deal of help.
Yes. So basically, what you're telling us is that you don't know much about this staff, but we should go speak to a dwarf. You could have told us this back at that tavern.
Wait. There's more information in the book. Just give me a second. It takes a little bit more time to read the book, okay? Yes?
Okay, Tan.
I would like to settle down by the fire and flick through the book.
So you sit down by the fire.
I know, it will take me a while to sort of...
Yeah, take you a little bit of time to go through it. So, as this is all going on, Tink, you descend the dark steps down into this crypt. You begin to notice the damp, stale air inside your nostrils. And it really feels like
nostrils.
in your nose pipes.
Olfactory senses, yeah.
Your olfactory senses. It feels like it lingers too long there and gives you a sense of unease about this place. The steps only continue for a short distance below the monastery floor. I mean, well, that's pretty normal for a crypt. And also pretty normal for a crypt. There are several stone coffins inlaid into the wall. What's weird, though, each one's inscription seems like it's been aggressively scratched off. Vandalised to the extent where no one could see who these people are. As you make your way further into the crypt, you notice that there is one sarcophagus. Sat nice and proud in the centre of this crypt. What would you like to do?
So, I'm assuming this place is ridiculously creepy, but Tink, being Orion and quite naive, isn't creeped out in the slightest. He's just kind of wandering around. He's fascinated by learning all of these and seeing all these new things. I think he'll probably wander towards it, just out of sheer naivety. He'll just walk up to this other sarcophagus.
This sarcophagus is, as you get closer to it, you realise that it's open. It's moved over slightly to one side, and the lid is not in place. On top, it's got the image of a human warrior lying on top. Shield on one side, sword on the other. As you look on the shield, you recognise the emblem. It's one that your friend Golem wears. It's of the Ember Order. And as you look over this sarcophagus, this one's a little bit stranger. There's a name and an inscription. And this one just has a single line through it. And you can read the name. It says Cornelius Pyreheart. And underneath it, scratched into the surface of this sarcophagus, into the stone side, it simply reads, The Deathless One. And that is where we will stop today's episode.
Oh, cliffhanger!
Yeah. Very much so.
There you go, folks. So, thank you very much. I really enjoyed that.
Good session, folks.
Yeah, really love that. It was good. Good fun. And, well, next time round, I guess we get to find out a little bit more about what's in the book and sort of where you will go from here. And with us ending like this, Ollie will have to join us for at least one more session.
Well, as long as you'll have me.
As long as you would like to join us. So
no, for sure.
Thank you very much for joining us so far.
The one thing the group needs is someone throwing lightning everywhere but the enemies.
adds to
exactly.
the chaos.
I just quite like the dynamic between him and Mac, to be honest. It's just permanently at odds with each other.
Let's see what happens next week.
Every game.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. What's going to happen at the start?
Yeah, who knows?
I throw him in the crypt.
God.
Going to play basketball, but with Tantan as the ball. But no, really enjoyed that, folks. So, no, thank you, and well done. Surviving still. You've managed to get through 7 episodes and you're still alive, just. So, no,
me and
thank
Golem
you
were
very
hammered there.
much. You were. As were all the enemies, eventually.
Literally.
But no, thank you very much, folks, for listening and following our podcast as we move through this adventure. I'm really enjoying it. I hope you folks are too. But for now, it's time for us to end this episode. So thank you very much, and we will catch you next time round.
Thanks very much, John.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to our show. We hope you enjoy it as much as we do. On that topic, if you did like the show, please leave us a review to help more people find their way to us. Anyway, we look forward to having you along for the next part of the journey. And just remember the most important question. What would you like to do?